All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Johanna Loke. I'm the chair of the ASIS Risk Intelligence Community. On this call, we have several of my fellow steering committee members, including, and I'm just pulling up the list here, Kevin Weeks, Luis Baptistella, and Nikki Desai. We might have some more joining us later on in the call as well. Thank you for joining. This is our second quarterly briefing, and the idea here is to give any community members kind of an update on what we've been up to, what we have planned, and give an opportunity to get more involved as well. So with that, I'll kick right off. Today we'll be going over the fact that we have an operating framework, a little bit of an update on the intelligence standard, what our research and events subcommittees are doing. And then we'll get a little bit of a recommended reading from Luis Baptistella, who's on our steering committee and published a book on this topic on risk intelligence and ways to join us and stay more connected. We will be aiming to leave some room at the end so that we can enable some discussion, chatting, questions, and just general being able to get to know one another a little bit more. So I won't be diving too much into this. It was more wanting to give an overall update. We developed an operating framework for the community. It basically included what we were aiming to do, just keep us better on track on what our objectives are for the year. All communities have kind of a thing each year that they fill out to say the main objectives, but we wanted to codify that a little bit more and get into the weeds more, including specific deliverables and different areas that we're going to be focusing on as pillars, one of which being transparency and part of that being presenting this to our community so that you can see what we've been up to. The intelligence standard is not something that we are doing as a steering committee. However, four of us on the committee are on the technical committee for the intelligence standard. And if you're interested in this process, firstly, there is a link to the ASIS page on this. And about 10 minutes before this call, I uploaded the meeting, the webinar panel discussion that we hosted earlier this month with three people who are very, very much involved and leading this initiative and the overall like how ASIS standards work. So if you go into our library, which I'll go into at the end of the call, how to get to that. If you're not familiar with it, you'll be able to watch that recording, which I highly recommend if you're curious about firstly how standards work within ASIS, and also specifically how the intelligence standard is working and what it aims to do. With that, I'm going to turn over to Kevin Weeks, who is our chair for the research subcommittee.
Oh yeah, how are you?
How are you?
Right, yeah. Uh, I don't really need a slide for this. The purpose of the research subcommittee is to identify subjects that are relevant to risk intelligence that should be of interest to all sectors in all jurisdictions. And we look at it on two levels. One strategically, things that should be subjects of interest that will be around for quite a few years, maybe across the course of a 5-year business plan. And secondly, on a tactical level, more topical subjects such as risk intelligence around energy providers in the Gulf area, for instance. So that's what we're looking at. Our challenge at the moment is in deciding what those subjects are. So we've had some internal debate about this watch list of subjects that we should be looking at. But we're still asking for contributions from the community to flag up subjects of choice that you'd like us to look at. Now, on a tactical and on a strategic level, we can be of use to, firstly, the broader community, but also to specific risk intelligence functions. And even if people are looking at something on a very, very personal level within their own sector responsibility, all I can do is encourage you to get in touch with us, and we'll have a look at that subject and see how it aligns with our broader interests, and so we can look at. Very shortly, we'll be publishing the subjects we're looking at, but in the meantime, we've just given it a little bit of time for the community to come back to us and flag those subjects up. We've got a couple of subjects at the moment, but we're meeting again next week, and it's at that point we'll decide what it is we're looking at then. So I encourage you now in the week that we have left to reach out to us, either coming to me personally or to anybody else on the steering committee, and flag up subjects that you'd like us and our experts to look at over the coming months to then report back. That's it, Johanna.
Thank you very much. And Kevin, do you want to drop your email or the best contact details in the chat so that people have that in case they want to reach
I'll,
out to that?
I'll just put it in now, Johanna. Thank you. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. So next, we have an events subcommittee as well, and a lot of different things are currently being planned. We don't have exact dates, but so this is very much a tentative plan. But I'll actually start with the right side. We are really aiming to work more with other communities. We had a great tri community meeting earlier this year. I'll be looking at getting the recording to be able to post that in our library as well. It's already available, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Kevin, but I believe it is available via the pharma community. But I can see if I can cross post that video recording so it's available in our library as well. On that track, we are currently in communications with banking, Future Op Center, mental health, IT security, next gen, and women in security, and have a tentative plan here. July will take a little bit of a breather getting all of this planned, as well as acknowledging that a lot of people are quite busy in July on holiday, etc. But we are basically aiming for one a month for these co-hosted events. For example, banking will likely look at something within the IT security area and specifically in AI and banking. Yeah, so yeah, I'll leave the rest for now in terms of specifics because the exact titles for each one are being worked out. But a lot of exciting things there, and there's others that I haven't listed here. For example, two of our steering committee members are looking at organizing something with the military and law enforcement to also get an event in that area, and just seeing what topics are especially pertinent. One thing we will sometimes be doing, we did this with banking, is we'll post in our community chat for feedback about what topics you might be interested in. So, for example, with banking, we originally, the people who are leading both communities in terms of events had a meeting where we proposed a few different things that we thought might be most interesting, and then we gave that list essentially to our community members, and banking created a poll to be able to provide feedback on what was the topic that was most pressing for members to hear about. So we might well do that with other topics, so do keep an eye on that. Oop, I apologize, I want to go back to, there we go. We also will be doing we'll continue with our quarterly updates. The next one will be a little ways away in early October. That's because we realized that January, April, July, October makes a lot more sense for quarterly updates because that way we are missing GSX. We are not competing with December holidays. January we'll be able to give more of an update with the new steering committee. So early October and then January. And after that, you'll have more consistent, more evenly spread out quarterly updates. We've also taken in feedback about a lot of community members being interested in which vendor, what vendors are useful and being curious about learning about more intelligence vendors. So we are looking at organizing I'm not sure if the name will stick, but meet the vendor or lunch and learn or some kind of event where we invite different vendors to be able to present their products. This would be with the emphasis that we are not specifically recommending one product over the other, but rather with the aim that over time we would have this library where you can learn about different vendors and be able to go into it, say, hey, I'd like to learn about X vendor I've heard about, and be able to watch their presentation easily. We are also looking at doing a series on intelligence practices in different countries. We happen to have the opportunity that we have several members of our steering committee who are based in Brazil. And so this kind of inspired us with the idea of, well, what is different about risk intelligence in Brazil? What are unique challenges? What are differences in whether it is the practice of or the topics of focus? And so several of our community members who are Brazil focused and Brazil based are looking at organizing the first one. We'll see how much interest there is and how successful that is compared to other events to see whether we want to continue that series for other locations around the world. And it's also an opportunity for us to partner with local chapters. So, for example, the Brazil event, what we've talked about is doing the community-wide event in English, and then the panelists basically doing a duplicate event in Portuguese with the Brazil chapter, which would also be help with inclusivity for members who wouldn't necessarily be joining the English-speaking discussion. The other big event to obviously flag is GSX. I believe that today might be, or I'm not sure if there is an early bird discount. It either is today or it just passed. I apologize if it just passed, but it is right about now. It'll be in Atlanta, Georgia, September 14th to 16th. We do have an info session planned, so that is an opportunity to speak with steering committee members in person, learn more about the community, chat with others who are interested in the community on the Tuesday at GSX at 9:30. And tentatively, we are looking at organizing some kind of breakfast get together as well, so that you can meet and chat and socialize a bit more with other risk intelligence professionals. We are leaning towards breakfast just to because there's a lot of competition for the evening and dinner and socializing after the event. I won't go into every single item here, but we did want to go through and look at different risk intelligence related events that are going on in the next few months. I did not go through the whole ASIS calendar. Rather, there's a link right here to the ASIS calendar. And outside of that, there is a long slew of events that might be relevant to you. Some paid, some complimentary, and quite a few that are virtual, so available to be accessed regardless of where you're based. And this slide, I will make this presentation available on the library later so you can be able to click on these things and be able to view them more easily. And with that, we did a recommended reading in the first quarter. We would love to welcome our steering committee member, Luis Baptistella, to present a little about his book, Counter and Intelligence 4.0.
Hi, everyone. Uh, Thanks a lot. I'm really very pleased. It's an honor to me to have the chance. And first of all, I would like to thank you and also Tiago for this unique opportunity to present or talk something about this book. It it was something that I started in 2023 when I decided to write a book in Portuguese, the first one. I This will be the second time I will say the reason I decided to write a book. It was because my daughter. I almost lost my daughter in a car crash in the United States. She lives in the U.S. In 2002. This accident it had happened 2022. I was very sad for what happened. And then I said to myself, I cannot give up because my daughter didn't give up. So one of the things I wrote in the book that my daughter is something that gives me strength to go on. So indirectly, I dedicated this book also to my daughter and my wife. Uh, this is the first one in Portuguese. Oh, sorry, uh, Portuguese one, 2023, when I published the book in Brazil. And I will make a break because I also, as a Brazilian participant, as a Brazilian representative here in this risk intelligence community, I also thanks ASIS for selecting me to have me the opportunity to participate in this selected group. And I would be pleased also, Joanna, thanks for giving this opportunity to Brazil to be in this meeting. Thiago told me your idea, and I think it would be great because, as you probably know, Brazil, we don't have an intelligence community so developed as in the United States, and also this issue as it's discussion in Europe in general. Brazil is still growing in this area. And this is the reason I decided to write a book in 2023 in Portuguese. And then, as I say, last year, 2004 to 2024 to 2025, I was crazy, as I say, to have the book published in English. And was an adventure because it's not easy to translate from Portuguese to English. And what did happen is, as I say, it's a new version because I wrote more 47 pages in English. So I updated the book until the point as Mr. Trump was appointed when he took office in January 2025. So, for instance, I discussed a little bit because this is very difficult to say problems in the deep state in the United States and what we now call as an intelligence parallel in Brazil, our intelligence agency, the Central Intelligence Agency from Brazil, acting as a parallel intelligence inside of the Brazilian government. So it's a very delicate issue. So, and then this is the English version, as I said, the new one, and it's a pleasure, is a very, it's an honor to me to talk about the book. As I say, I try to connect geopolitical issues in this Cold War 2.0 and the concept of gray zone. So all of this is involved in intelligence beyond government, but goes to the corporate sector. So one of my objectives is to help corporate sectors. So as I said, one of the main focuses of the book is in the corporate counterintelligence as a strategic discipline. And then also to protect sensitive information, intellectual property, competitive advantages against espionage. So I say this because I had the honor, also privilege, in the Brazilian Navy service, intelligence services, to be the counterintelligence head. I had to learn about counter-espionage. And Brazil faces espionage, especially because we are developing a nuclear submarine. I mean, propulsion, nuclear propulsion, not to have weapons, nuclear weapons. So, because of this, I cannot name countries, I cannot name facts, but I was aware about espionage in Brazil when I was the head of counterintelligence. So all of these made me to go deeper in intelligence and counterintelligence. I started my business in the Brazilian intelligence service as an intelligence analyst. I had the privilege, I had the chance to work in the both sides of the same coin. To finish my words, most of the idea in this book that goes to basic concepts, but also goes to, I would say, some examples and cases or concepts, even to senior intelligence officers. I try to bring together lots of American books that I had a chance to read. I have to say that most of the biography, most of the knowledges we have for the intelligence professionals comes from the United States. Very good books. Former CIA officers, former FBI officers, former NSA officers, whatever, but very good books where we can learn a lot from them. We have some French books that is good books, also coming from French. So I try to bring all of this, mention all of them. So every the facts, they are related to something in a very strong biography. I hope you like it. The book is available in the United States, Canada, England, Europe, because the publisher, my publisher, they have done a very good job from Brazil, and the book is available in English in most of the countries in Europe, for instance. I hope you enjoy, and I would be very happy to receive your comments about the book. Thanks once again, Joanna, for this opportunity to talk to our friends in the intelligence risk community. I'm very happy. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Luis. I appreciate the review and the recommendation for sharing that. And next, just a quick note, really, that the exact date that ASIS opens up their call for volunteers is yet to be set. However, we expect it to be about August, so in a little over a month. We'll definitely be looking for more of you to join our steering committee, and we will have more information on that before then. But because our next call is in October, I wanted to just flag that to please be on the lookout because we are hoping to expand our steering committee and look forward to getting lots of applications on that. And if you ever have any questions, do feel free to reach out to myself or to anyone on the steering committee to hear more about what it's like or expectations, or if you just want to, chat about what it's like. It's just occurred to me, but I'm also thinking that maybe we'll try to organize some kind of call beforehand to just discuss it for anyone who has questions about it. That said, I'll see if there's any interest or if that's just me spitballing on the go as I say this. But if there is interest in that you might want to just brainstorm with others and talk to steering committee members about what it's like and your ideas and whether you want to apply, do let me know and I can look at organizing that kind of event. Uh, we do have a LinkedIn group, so we're looking at updating our connects more swiftly, but we also have a LinkedIn group. Please feel free to post on either that or connects or both. And I have just right before this call updated our library. If you are not familiar with accessing libraries on ASIS, I have circled here in red in the left image where to go to the library. So if you go up to, let me just go to the big page, communities at the very top, then my communities to navigate to risk intelligence and then to library, which is circled there, you should have a view similar to the right image here. And we're working on getting all of our recorded videos onto here. We currently don't have the Pharma call because that was organized and hosted by Pharma, but I will look at cross-posting it here too so that everything is in one place for you. And if you have any questions about accessing the library or any other questions related to using our Connects page, again, please feel free to reach out and we're happy to try to troubleshoot anything. And finally, I was aiming to leave at least half an hour, so we have about 5 minutes extra here. If you have questions, feedback, if you have book reviews, if you want to publicize events, please do feel free to firstly just let us know on the call. You can let us know here or reach out to us on Connects, on LinkedIn, or there is a committee email that will go to myself and our vice chair, Thiago, so that we can be able to get in touch that way as well.